mean, I like hanging out with people, but it's just sometimes it's hard to get time to do everything, you know? And
I don't like hanging out with people.
well, there's that, there's some people that don't like that either. So
I just don't. I don't trust people is the biggest part of it.
I would have never guessed that about you, DJ.
I don't either because you
I
know
can
what? It's
I
so
can act like I'm sociable, but I,
well, I can
I'm
be
not
sociable, but
naturally.
you know what? I don't trust people because what I don't like is, first of all, how did you guys even get my cell phone number? Because I didn't give it to you. So somebody I gave it to, and I told them not to give it to anybody else, gave it to you.
Right.
And and secondly, you think that I'm going to come out and eat something and that's all we're going to do? No, you want to talk, like I said, have your private show for an hour, 45 minutes or whatever. And I hardly ever eat. I just pick at whatever the food is there. I don't know. It's just, and then again, people, it's like I said, I'm sure this happens to you and DJ as well. People somehow think that they're entitled to have their time with you or lunch with you or whatever. And I'm like, you know what, folks, I don't do this with my friends, much less with people I listen to on the radio or guests I've had or whatever.
Yeah.
I went out with somebody, Dave Donaldson. I went out with Friday. He'd been bugging me, and there was a lot of stuff that it was better to talk about in person. Other than that, I think it's been at least 4 or 5 years before I agreed to go out to lunch with somebody. It's just, it's not my thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a
We went
clock. I
to
got, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we went to an HOA happy hour
Happy hour.
last weekend, and that was fun. I hadn't I know they had been doing them. I realize they were doing them every quarter, and they're like, okay, you get to do the next one. I'm like, I'm living in my workout room. Maybe if it's ready by then.
And that is always how it happens. You know what? I was the social director for my church for 2 years. And I was all honored that, I got that position and took it really, very responsibly. And my wife and I worked really, really hard. Then I realized that no, they didn't give you that position because, they had a ton of respect for you or whatever. That's the hardest position to have filled.
I'm
And you
sure.
were the willing to be the person that every Sunday had to go buy donuts and do this and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. All right, I got a clock here. Do I have a clock here? Yeah, I have a clock here. It looks like I'm good to go, Barb. How about you?
Good about the clock thing. I got I got my laptop. I got this big double wide in front of me. I was listening to Robert Gouveia make fun of all these Jack Smith. I get a kick out of watching him. He's funny.
I see. I haven't watched. I watched a couple of the short clips, but that's about it. There's so much. I'm trying to be really good at this radio show, but I've got three other shows that used to play a part at least in doing this, and now they're gone. So I feel obligated to do everything. And honestly, I'm coming apart at every seam.
Yeah, I'm getting a little overwhelmed myself. I'm like, okay, I think I pushed the limit. It's time to shed off some of the things. I'm learning how to do it. Delegation is a challenge for me. Not that I'm controlling. It's just I tell my staff this all the time. I'm like, you're supposed to read my mind.
Well, I was able to shut it
You know
down
that?
Mother's Day. So that was good. But I do think that's funny. If they worked for you long enough, they probably do read your mind.
Yeah, there's some things they do, but I just tease them about it and go, didn't I tell you? Well, you're supposed to read
Yeah,
my mind.
exactly.
So I
That's
started doing this weekly goals for the week for each one of my staff members. And, I felt like it was a little too controlling, but actually they really like it. You
oh
know,
wow.
they're like, no, no, we like this. Then we kind of know what you want us to do. So,
You know what? I actually somewhere read a study about
I like
college.
knowing expectations too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere I read something about college students even, and teenagers, actually, they say they don't, but they actually do like people to give them expectations and boundaries, and that way they know what they're doing. And I did find out from my kids a lot of times, if they were able to say to their friends, no, I can't go. You know what? I've got to be home at midnight. And if I miss that, I can't drive the car for a week or 2 weeks or whatever.
Hmm.
And he said the good thing was it gave them an out of situations that they know darn well no good was going to come out of them. So it gave them a
Yeah.
dignified way of, saying no.
Teenagers in a car after midnight's probably not good.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm ready to go. How about you, Barb?
Yep, I'm ready.
I'll count us down in three, three, two, one. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program and owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate, and it does it with Colorado's Real Estate Authority. That's Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available by going to Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search Barb on most of the podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. You'll find her there. So, Barb, what are we talking about this week?
Well, Richard, I'm excited about this show because it covers a lot of things with brutal honesty about what's going on in the real estate market and some solutions for people. The first one is going to be about the top 5 reasons to sell your home to a cash buyer. We'll go into some details about that. And then the next one is how to get your home that's on the market on the buyer's must-see list. That's been a problem right now. Did you know, Richard, that the available inventory in the Pikes Peak region has gone up 33% since a year ago?
Wow, that is way more than a year ago, but the market keeps fluctuating and changing. And that's why having a couple of decades worth of experience in this market is so incredibly valuable. You can put things into perspective.
Right. So if you're trying to sell your house and all of a sudden it's not selling, they want to know why. Well, you've got more competition, so you have to position the home to get your buyer in the door. Then we're going to talk about the top 10 questions a home seller needs to know to ask before putting their home on the market, particularly when they're talking to and interviewing agents to handle one of their largest assets. And then the last thing is just kind of a checklist, just sort of a flow of the process of getting your house ready for sale. People don't do this every day. Sometimes they're ready to go. They've already remodeled everything. They've already maintained the home really, really well. It's not a problem. But others, we run into issues. And so we're going to walk through that checklist and exactly what to do to get your home ready for sale. And as always, I love covering our hot new listings. Richard?
Barb, the market has certainly changed in the last year. It's causing some people to wonder if their homes will sell quickly and at a good price. Many home sellers want to bet on the sure thing, a cash buyer versus a buyer who's getting a loan. Do home sellers get less money when they're selling to a cash buyer versus a traditional buyer?
Well, Richard, a lot of people really wonder, okay, if I sell my home to one of those investors, the word investor is kind of it connotates a negative thing, like I'm going to sell my home for less money, but that actually is not always true. Some of these investors will pay full market value. And, why would I get more money if I sell my home the traditional way? Well, sometimes you will, but it's going to take longer. And I can tell you that sellers really don't like the uncertainty of not knowing that their home is going to sell, or worse yet, even if they take a contract, the uncertainty of when they're going to get it to the finish line. And we're starting this new program where basically you can go to my website, Barb Has the Buyers, and you can actually get offers on your home. We call it sell your home in 3 minutes with 3 clicks and get 3 offers. So if you want to do that, go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on cash offer. There's a couple of videos on there that explain the whole program and just give you some really good information so you can walk in the door and know what you're getting into. And then if you decide to meet with us and discuss the sale, we're going to sit down, we're going to take a really good look at your home. We're going to figure out what your goals are, show you all of the options, including our multiple cash offers, and give you the opportunity to get more cash offers, and then give you a really good idea what your home will sell for in this current market. And of course, it's a free service and you're never obligated to sell your home. Now, to give you an idea of what a buyer would pay for your home, it's not always what people think. A lot of people say, well, my neighbor's home sold for this, so mine should sell for this much. And we're finding that that's not really working right now, especially with a third more inventory of available homes on the market. Things are taking longer. Buyers have more choices, and there's fewer buyers for the home sellers to compete for right now because the interest rates are still hovering around 7%. But one of the things that we can do at that time is present your home to 64, actually we're up to about 67 high net worth buyers that will pay cash for your home, and some will pay full market value. And so when the initial meeting takes place, you really don't have to have the home ready for sale at that time. I know a lot of people kind of get nervous about that, and they're like, oh my God, no, I'm not ready. My house doesn't look pretty enough for a real estate agent to come over and talk to me. But that day is not when we're taking pictures, okay? We've seen enough homes. We can look past anything that you're planning to do that's not done yet. Plus, we can give you guidance on what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale. Because some people don't know. Some people think, oh my God, I got to do a full-on remodel in order to get top dollar. And it depends on the house. It depends on the price range. So that really isn't always the case. So if you're driving and you'd like to get some more information about our programs, you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call, 719-301-3900. And of course, you're never obligated to sell your home. And some of the things that we do is we give the sellers certainty on the whole process and how it's going to go, regardless of what kind of offer you're looking at. So we'll help you prepare for getting the home on the open market. We'll help you prepare for photo day. If you decide that you're not interested in going on the traditional sale route and you want to handle a typical cash offer buyer, there's not as much preparation work. You don't have to worry about showing your home to strangers. You don't have to worry about open houses. You don't have to list it for sale. All we need to do is take photos and videos. We submit it to our investor, but we're also marketing to up to 700 buyers in waiting in our database and much, much more. So we give you checklist on what to expect, no matter what kind of process you're going through. That way the home seller has clarity and certainty about what's going to happen. And it's really interesting. I come from, I was in the Navy for years, and I also worked my career field in the Navy. Initially, I worked as an air traffic controller, then became an intel officer. And I worked for the FAA as an air traffic controller for a while, and intel officer. All these jobs had a job description. They had rules and regulations and processes in place about what to do and what not to do, right? When I got into real estate, that was the biggest shock to me, is that there was no process. There were no guidelines. The only thing that they were worried about was keeping the brokers out of lawsuits. So you had to make sure everything was very affirmative in writing in the contracts, but there wasn't a process about how to get ready for sale or how to make the pictures look good, or a process for how you deal with the home sale each step of the way. None of that took place. In fact, I remember when I first got my license, I hung my license with a big box brokerage type firm. And I'd gone to my 1 month of school, and all of a sudden I'm qualified to handle people's largest assets, which I knew I wasn't. And I started asking the other agents in my office, okay, so how do I do this? And how do I do that? And I quickly discovered that they were tolerant of me and answered the question, but I was effectively their competitor. So they really didn't want to help the rookie, right? I was competition for them. So why should they help me grow my business? They have their own business, because the way real estate works is you're all independent contractors. You're all your own business underneath a brokerage competing for the business. So it was surprising to me that there was no clarity, there was no system, there was no checklist. And over the years, I have built up a really good system where everybody knows what's going on. They know what the next step is. They know where they're at. They get pictures, videos, updates, all kinds of stuff. We also have a system that we offer, which is called a certified pre-owned home program, to help solve the problem of contracts blowing up over inspections. We have a tree, God, let me say that again. We have a certified pre-owned home program that solves the problem of contracts blowing up over inspections. So it includes a pre-inspection and a home warranty. That way the buyer knows with certainty that they're going to get a house that's in good shape, and they know for a year after closing that they'll be able to maintain that home with very little cost. Whereas people that don't do anything like that, they could spend the money on an inspection and an appraisal and not have any idea what's going to happen in the future. So that's just some of the things that we do. And my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Real Estate. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team and also the host of this show. Next up, we're going to just go real quick through the top reasons you should consider selling your home for cash. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker. We're talking about how a home seller knows their home is sold, whether they decide on a cash offer or a traditional sales process. So, Barb, tell us about the top reasons that a home seller would consider selling their home to a cash buyer.
Well, there's a lot of home sellers that don't want to wait months and months for their homes to sell. Things like pricing could slow down the sale if it's overpriced, or even if it's priced to similar sales. I found recently it really doesn't work. That doesn't make the buyers make offers if you're pricing to historic sales. You got to price to the competition. The marketing could slow the sale. I was just in a home 2 weeks ago where the home's absolute best benefit was that it backed to open space with beautiful views. But was there a picture of that? No. So the buyers had no idea. They had very few showings. And the other thing that happens is, if it's not priced right, these buyers, they typically won't just throw out an arbitrary lowball offer. They'll just pass the home by. So if you take a cash offer, and let's say you have a home that's been rented or a second home, you don't have to worry about not having rental income and making extra payments and having that hurt your budget. You could move on to a cash sale and have it taken care of right away. And what about people that are moving out of state? A lot of people moving out of state actually have their next destination kind of lined up first. So in their case, timing is absolutely more critical. What about if you're building a home? Cash offers work for those people because a lot of builders actually won't construct a home with a sale contingency tying up the process. They're concerned that by the time it's ready to complete the home, when they get paid, their home won't be sold, and so therefore they won't accept them. So that's why certainty is absolutely important to somebody building a home. What about people that are downsizing? Let's say they're going to a smaller home, or let's say they're going to, I have one client went to an independent living facility, and now she's a motivated seller because guess what? the cost of those monthly are very expensive. So we have to make sure we did get our home sold. So we're excited about that. But I'm just saying, some people would be willing to take a cash offer to not have that uncertainty and waiting for a month or two for it to sell. What about if you have other challenges like a job loss or a divorce? In some cases with a divorce, these sales are court ordered. Or if the family has some kind of financial uncertainty, a cash offer gives them certainty. So that's what we do. And we have this program where you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on cash offers, sell your home in 3 minutes, 3 clicks, 3 offers. So give us a call if you are thinking of making a move at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and with your home sold guaranteed realty, the owner, the proprietor. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about how to get your home on the buyer's must-see list. It's crucial. It's important. Barb will tell you how to do it when we come back. I think, won't she?
For sure.
There's a good chance that might happen.
Oh, God. I don't know why I was not warmed up today.
You know what? I'll tell you this quick story. I'll keep it quick. But when I was in television, so I was the weekend anchor. So the way it worked was you would anchor on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. And then you would be off Monday and Tuesday, and then you'd come back on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Well, you had a couple of days off, and it wasn't too hard to come back and be a reporter. But when it came back to doing what you're doing, to be an anchor, I swear to God, and every woman I anchored with said the same thing, that the first show on Friday night was always kind of rough because it took you getting back up to speed and feeling comfortable again. And then after that, the 10 o'clock on Saturday night and the 2 shows on Sunday, you felt good about. But it was always, just getting back up to speed and getting in that groove again. It seems like it always takes a little bit of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm ready to go if you are. Your hair looks great again. And it always looks great again. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it does.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right. I'm ready.
We'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. It does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And we're back, Barb. We're talking about one of your largest assets, that is your home. Many people have sat on the sidelines and decided not to buy because rates or prices are just too high right now. So, Barb, there are ways to make homes more attractive and affordable to buyers. Tell us what those are.
Well, Richard, a lot of buyers gave up and just quit on the whole idea of buying homes when rates went up. So after the mortgage meltdown in 2008, all the way through to 2022, which is for some people almost a lifetime, the rates were really low, 3, 3.5, 4. They stayed in those low ranges, sometimes as low as 2. So it made homes more affordable. The result was that the prices went up, but they could still handle the payments. Then when the Fed started rising the rates up to 7, when they go up to 8, it really creates a lot of demand destruction from the buyers because they buy on payment. Most buyers don't pay cash for homes. Okay. Most of them are getting some kind of loan where they're putting some kind of down payment. And so, but some of them have really been disciplined about, living frugally and saving a lot of money so they're ready for their down payment. Some people are getting help from their family members, but home sellers can actually offer incentives just like builders do. They can offer to buy down the interest rate by covering some of the buyer's loan closing costs. And it really does impact the buyers because it gives them an opportunity to be able to afford the house. And just so you know, the benefits of home ownership are really important. I just met with a buyer yesterday who's never bought a home before, very nervous about it. But the situation is right. The price is definitely right for this home that this person's going to buy. And I wanted to kind of go over with her why to do this, besides just, wanting to live there. It's more about stabilizing your housing costs, because people have to pay for housing anyway. But if you're renting's going to go up every year or two. And it could be that the seller decides to sell the home and then you got to move out. So that's not a good situation. And things have gotten more and more expensive. So if you can afford to buy it, what happens is your monthly payment essentially stabilizes. It stays the same. It might have a little variation for property taxes, but not much. As the home value rises up, and studies have shown that people that buy homes have 60% higher net worth than people that don't. So it's really, really important. And we often have buyers ask for what we call concessions, which is basically a request for the seller to pay the buyer's loan closing costs. We're seeing that pretty commonly in sales prices below 500,000, but even higher than that. So why are they doing that? It's because they have a limited amount of cash and they want to basically have the seller pay some of their cost of getting the loan. And I've seen some numbers as high as like $32,000 in closing costs. That's a little bit much. But what's pretty common is about 10, maybe even 15,000 of the loan's closing cost, right? And what are they doing with that money? It's not like they're, going shopping. They don't get cash out of it. All that money has to go towards the cost of their loan. So they pay what's called these discount rates, where they give the lender money to make the fixed rate permanently lower. And that helps them and helps lower their payments. So for home sellers, it's something that you can offer. You can negotiate. In other words, you can raise up the price to cover some of those costs. And you have to keep in mind, there is definitely a commission expense to it. As an example, I had one a few months ago where we had already agreed on a price for the home. I think it was around 405, and they went up in price to 415 to do just that, to pay the lender to buy down the interest rates to make the house more affordable for the buyer. They were a first-time home buyer, which is fine, except the seller said, wait, if I do the math, I would have to pay a commission, because it's based on the sales price, on their cash needs. And that amount in this case would have been about $600-700. So we tried to counter the buyer and say, okay, fine, we'll pay your closing costs, but we're not going to pay a commission expense on top of your closing costs. And of course, the buyer's agent had a complete meltdown and threatened to take me to arbitration for his extra $250. And I just said, forget it. I'll just cover it. I think the seller's right to ask for that. And you can have fun at your arbitration hearing if you want to do it, but I didn't feel like fighting him over it. Fortunately, with this new National Association of Realtors settlement, all that stuff's going to go away and everything's going to be negotiable, which I think is wonderful. It's going to teach people, agents in particular, how to negotiate. So my name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I am Barb Has the Buyers Team. I'm also the host of this show, Real Estate Voice. And what we're talking about is how you can position your home to be one of those must-see homes that the buyer wants to go see. And then next up, we're going to be talking about what you can do to make sure your home is found online. And if you are thinking of making a move, we can help you in any kind of market. Even though the prices are going up, the inventory is also up by 33%, and there is less demand. So what does that mean? That means that not as many homes are going to sell. So you have to be really, really competitive. So if you are thinking of making a move, just on our little website, we have over 27,914 buyers. Typically, I can find up to 700 matches for your home that are a high match for any home pretty much. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com. And if you don't want to deal with the whole selling process, you can sell your home in 3 minutes for top dollar and get multiple cash offers on your home at a price agreeable to you, guaranteed, or I'll pay you the difference. So basically you go to barbhasthebuyers.com, 3 clicks, 3 minutes, you get 3 offers. And I can guarantee your price of 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference. You can sell your home as is with no showings, no open houses, not even listing your home for sale. And our program was actually voted the #1 way to sell a home by highest priced research. So find out more at barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call, 719-301-3900. Richard?
Barb, we're talking about how to motivate buyers to put their homes on that must-see list. So what are some of the particulars about those offers?
Well, Richard, it's how hard is it typically, if you're wondering, for a buyer to qualify for a loan? First of all, if they don't carry a lot of debt and they have decent income and they have a good credit score, they're probably going to be in good shape. So you really want to take care of your credit. That's important. But in general, if your debt to income does not exceed 35 to 40%, now debt is defined as things like house payments, car payments, doesn't include utilities or, cell phone service or anything like that. But it does include any kind of credit card debt, any debts that you have to handle. Generally, you can get a loan if your credit score is at or above 620. But, a lot of people think the buyer has to save 20% down, but there's plenty of loan programs out there. There's 2 that have a 0 down program. One is VA, and the other is FHA, where they give down payment assistance to the buyer. I've also seen a whole bunch of contracts come across with 5% down for conventional or 10%. So it doesn't have to be 20% down. And if you have a cash buyer buy your home, then it's an easier way to sell. But at the end of the day, most people want the most money. I'd say a majority of them. And so it's all about making sure that you position the home to get the most money by pricing it right, by making sure it's marketed appropriately, and making sure it's presented to the market appropriately. And that's part of what we do. So if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to find out how to get your home ready for sale, what to do, what not to do to get your home ready for sale. If you want to know what your home will sell for in this market, go over all the closing costs, so you know exactly what you'll put in the market. Then go to barbhasthebuyers.com or call us at 719-301-3900. And in general, people don't sell homes very often, right? And the reason why clients get dissatisfied typically is communication. Maybe occasionally they'll have circumstances, title issues, maybe disclosure issues, maybe agent issues. I'm in a huge battle right now with an agent that keeps sending over the addendum of every 2 days. And I don't know why this person has to have the last word, but she's threatened to sue me and my seller. It's like, why are you doing that? You got a buyer that wants to buy and a seller that wants to sell. So sometimes they get in the way. Sometimes the marketing can be bad. But at the end of the day, we are trained and experienced to handle any of these problems. And we do deal with it day in and day out to try to make the process as easy as possible for the home seller and just take some of the weight of some of the craziness off their shoulder. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900, or you can get your cash offer by going to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on cash offer, and in just 3 clicks, 3 minutes, you can get 3 offers. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, simply call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Or if you want to, you can find out about selling in 3 minutes with 3 clicks and get 3 offers by visiting barbhasthebuyers.com. Click on cash offer where you see that button. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing. Oh, I see. Hang on. When we come back, we're going to be discussing the top 10 questions that home sellers need to know before putting their home up for sale. Stay tuned for that. You know what? I didn't see that. I was trying to grab the next script, which I was in the middle of processing. And then David was smart enough just to point. And so you can edit that little thing together, right, David?
I might have messed up the script.
No,
So
it's okay. It's, when I go through and I mark up the scripts in advance, and I was marking that up and I had a big question mark there. And I meant to ask you before we started recording about that, but of course I didn't. I'm going to run to the men's room real quick. Be right back.
okay. Ah, stretch my legs. I'm going to Florida on Thursday.
Yeah. Did you say you're going to Florida, Barb?
Yeah, we're celebrating my brother's 70th birthday, and he is retiring.
Oh my gosh.
Same thing, but he doesn't know we're coming. I have 4 siblings,
Right.
so he has no idea we're coming, which is going to be fun.
And what is he retiring from? What did he used to do?
He works in the audiovisual department for the state of Florida.
Oh, there you are. Yeah.
He does all the video, and he's behind
Yep.
the camera guy and production and that kind of thing. Kind of
Yeah.
probably similar to what DJ does.
Well, and you know what the truth is? So it didn't take me long in television to realize that at the station I was at, much less all of the other stations, I kind of thought you got a job there, you worked there, and you worked there, if not forever, for a long, long time. The truth is that nope, most people, no matter how good they are, no matter whether they're the weekend anchor, the main anchor, whatever, after about 4 or 5 years, they're like, okay, this has been fun. I really enjoyed doing this, but now I need to really make some money. And they go to one of two things. They either go to real estate, or like your brother, they go to government entities. A friend of mine that was a great photographer at KKTV went up to Denver, and he shot exclusively for the Broncos for his own station up there, and
Nice.
he retired, but now he's working for, I don't remember which one, for a fire department. And so, he goes out, does public statements, public service announcement, it goes out and shoots video and all of the rest. And it seems like what your brother, I guess I'm trying to say, what he is doing. Yep, that's an option for a lot of people. And I'm glad he gets to retire.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he wants to work. He's always been our most talented guitar player in the family. So
There you are.
he's in a band and he's got a bunch of dogs. He's, but it's going to be fun to surprise him. I'm excited about that.
All right, let me surprise you with segment 3 here. And I am ready to go. Barb, you look good. David's good. I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. It's the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, I know many people ask you questions when getting ready to sell their homes. So, what are some of the top questions that home sellers should be asking before they put their home up for sale?
Well, Richard, unless a home is underpriced by, say, 5 to 10%, they are definitely taking longer to sell. There are fewer buyers who can manage the payments now with the interest rates. I think when I checked this morning, it was hovering around just over 7%. And it waggles. We've had it as high as 7.6 just a few weeks ago. And the other problem that they have is that the inventory has gotten a lot higher than it was just a year ago. So we've got more sellers competing for fewer buyers. So even though it's saying it's kind of hovering between a seller and a buyer market, the truth is it's only a seller's market if it's priced right, if it's prepared right, and if it's promoted properly. All those things are absolutely critical. So let's cover some of the top questions a home seller should be asking, especially to a real estate agent. Number one, how do I prepare my home for sale before I sell it? So people don't sell homes every day, and I often get questions about, well, should I do this? Should I do that? And so I just tell them, look, when we're taking pictures, the tips that you're getting are for photo day. Things like pick up the rugs in the kitchen and the bathrooms, take off all the clutter off the counters, that kind of stuff. If you can leave it like that, fine. If not, it's fine. But make sure you at least do it for the photos, because that gets the buyer in the door. They may not remember little things like that when they get there. And we do it multiple times every single week. And what we do, we come out, we take a grand tour of your home. We'll give you tips on what to do, what not to do. And then also a really good idea on how much your home will sell for. And of course, what you'll put in your pocket when it sells. So the number 2 top question we get is, what's my home worth? So I would say a majority of people are naturally gravitate to all those online automated valuations, but I can tell you they are not always right. Um, Zillow is just averaging the homes around you. Most of these are doing that. They call them algorithms. I don't know what that means, but I think they're just averaging the average price per square foot all around you. And unlike the boom, not every home is selling. People think when my house is going to go on the market, it's going to sell. Well, it will sell if it's priced right, if it's promoted right, and it's properly presented to the market. And the market decides what the home will sell for, not the seller, not how much money you put into it, not that you got a tankless water heater, and not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that a buyer's not going to pay a premium for it. I see a lot of people put in solar systems and they think the buyer is going to pay dollar for dollar when they purchase the home for that system, but it's just not true. I've looked at data, I've tried to find data to prove that the home is actually worth more because it has solar. Now, buyers like it. It's nice to have, but it doesn't mean they're going to spend $30,000, $50,000 more in the house just because you have it. And we have really good empirical data that we can bring when we sit down and meet. We talk about similar sales. And in that case, you have to compare apples to apples. We'll talk about what the current competition is. We can even give you certainty of sale with our 100% of market value, or we'll pay you the difference, or give you our cash offers and see which one will work for you. Many homes are selling fairly quickly. I just sold a home up in Monument. It had over 25 people at the open house. We got 2 offers and it sold for $25,000 over asking price the first week. That is doing it right. It was priced right. It's promoted right. It's sold at the right price and everybody was happy. But it requires the perfect setup. Preparation, number 1, getting the house ready for sale. Pricing, absolutely critical. Pricing it what I call realistically versus optimistically. And promotion. So this is where the agent comes in. People are going to turn their nose up at a house that has clutter. People aren't even going to go see it because the furniture might be dated. You never know what it's going to take to cause a buyer to go, I don't want that home. I'm not even going to spend my gas money going out to check it out. So that's why picking the right agent is absolutely critical. And on a typical sale, there's over 180 tasks. We have over 200 that an agent will do in handling the sale. It's not like you think. We don't just post and hope. There's a lot of things involved with the process. The other question we get is, how long will it take to sell a home? And you should be asking that if the agents are interviewing. How long does it take you to sell homes? And it depends on a lot of things. It depends on the preparation of the seller. It depends on whether or not it's priced right, whether or not it's promoted right. Now, in some cases, the seller, of course, controls pricing. They may hold the price up too long. And that's fine. That's their decision. I had that happen on one last summer over in the Woodman Valley area. Beautiful home, spectacular upgrades inside, but he priced it a little bit high. And he got a couple offers up front, but he rejected them all because they weren't full price. And then the summer marched on. And what we were getting in the feedback of the showings was that the buyers were opting for new construction homes that probably didn't have a yard as nearly as nice as that one, but had everything fresh and new. So it's absolutely critical that you know who your competitor is, and that's what we help our clients do. If a home is properly prepared to go on the market and priced right, it should get a contract in 1 to 2 weeks. But you have to focus on the competition, not just on historic sales. Just because in the past month, if you look at the data that came out this month, if you look at compare May of 2023 to May of 2024, there's a 33% increase in the available homes compared to a year ago. Yet the volume of sales hasn't changed that much at all. So what does that mean? That means that there's fewer buyers for the home sellers to compete with. Here's a, excuse me, need my tea. Sorry about that. Here's a brand new chart that I just got access to. It's really cool. Where it's basically showing that the pending sales as compared to a year ago are only 3% higher. Yet the volume of inventory, so you go back to the last slide, is 33% higher. That tells me very clearly that home sellers are competing for fewer buyers that can afford homes in this market. And then when you're on the market and you're showing the home, the market absolutely is going to leave clues as to whether or not you got those 4 P's right up front, meaning pricing, preparation, promotion, and picking the right area. I'm sorry, pricing, promotion, preparation, and picking the right agent. A general rule of thumb is if you've had 10 sets of buyers through your house and no offers, the price is too high. Or if you go with 10 days without any showings, your price is too high. Or if you're getting some offers, but they might be a little bit low, you're probably really close to being priced right, and you just need to make a small adjustment. And when you get offers with strings attached, like if they're asking for too many closing costs or things like that, don't take out and shoot the buyer, because at the end of the day, they're interested enough to make an offer, right? So it opens negotiations. Sometimes they're just fishing. Sometimes their agents are telling them to fish for a lower price. But if they really, really want the house, they're going to stay engaged. And then what about contingencies? So as an example, if the purchaser has a house to sell, I always ask this question of home sellers: how do you feel about that if they make an offer on your home? And most sellers, it's pretty much a hard no. It's an all stop. I don't want to wait for somebody else's house to sell before mine actually closes. And I don't want to tie up my home during that process. Well, one thing that's different about us is we have solutions for that. We could take their house, even though they're not our client, and present them to our cash offers and get their home sold so they can buy yours without a sale contingency. Another thing that we're seeing more and more of right now is home sellers that have loans, particularly VA loans or FHA loans. They can be assumed. A VA loan can be assumed even though you're not a veteran. And I can tell you, if you get into a deal where you get the opportunity to assume a VA loan, it is a gift to the buyer. I just had one close last month. The sales price was 1.1 million. The loan amount was about 5.5 million. The buyer assumed the seller's loan at an interest rate of 2.25%. Now, if they'd have gotten a loan for that 500,000 at the current rates, which is about 7%, their payment would have been a lot higher. And over time, it would have cost that buyer another $500,000 to pay for that home over the life of the loan. So it is a gift if you have the opportunity for a VA assumption, and it is absolutely a gift if you're offering it as a home seller to let them assume your VA loan. If it's a veteran assuming your loan, you're released from liability right away at the closing, and you're good to go. I have a listing right now up in Crystal Park where he's offering an assumption on his loan, whether that person is a veteran or not. It doesn't matter. That is a huge present. It's like giving him $500,000 off the price of the home. That is how important it is. And it really doesn't take that much time. The one that I closed, we got approval in 6 weeks, and we could have closed right away, but the buyer wanted to wait a little bit longer for whatever reason. So some of these things can be offered. And sales contingencies, of course, can be very, very complicated. But at the end of the day, if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. I'm Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. So we're talking about some questions that a home seller should ask. When we come back really quick, we're going to do a lightning round of some of the top questions a home seller should be asking when they're considering putting their home on the market. And if you are thinking of moving and you want to be introduced to our up to 700 buyers that are a high match for your home, give us a call, 719 301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Okay, we have to pause just for a second. Richard's just coming back in, and he stepped out to see a fire that I guess is happening right over by Woodman Valley Church.
Which is right across from us. And the person who came in said, can one of you guys go cover it? Which we're in the middle of recording you, so that's not really an option.
Oh,
But
no.
sometimes I know this guy is a member there, so I had a feeling that it may be higher on his radar. I went out and it just doesn't look like it was something that really even merited me walking out of the room, much less putting a hold on this. So
What kind of, is it in the building?
no, you know what? And this is what I think it was. It looks like it was a little bit further north and down. There's a big creek bed there, and homeless camp out there a lot, especially up close to where the hotels and where the convenience station is at. And a lot of times they'll either leave a fire and move on. It's unattended. It heats up a day or two later. It kicks up. Or as David was saying, and the police never tell you this, but the HOT team, which is their, homeless outreach team, comes along, tells them they can't camp here anymore. They need to move along. And so, yeah, they go ahead and they move along, but they're pissed off. So they leave a revenge fire there for, the store owner or whoever wanted them to move along. I was driving up to spend the ball game with my son on Sunday. We're driving up, it's a Sunday. Sure enough, there's a fire down along Fountain Creek where there always are. And they had a brush truck down there and were able to kick it down. I just worry it's going to be one of these days when we have winds that are 80, 90, 100 miles an hour and
Yeah.
they don't get it kicked down.
People have property around there.
Yeah. But in any event, it didn't look like it was that big of a deal. So I'm coming back with 3, 2, 1. Barb, we're discussing the top questions that a home seller should ask when they're getting ready to sell their home. Everyone knows that I have been recommending you for years and years now. Tell us what are some key questions that a home seller should ask from real estate agents.
Well, number one, most people don't know how to pick an agent. Typically, they go to whoever they might have known in the past. The truth is, 80% of real estate agents get out of the business in 5 years. 81% of agents, and this is true across all the big box firms, are selling 3 or less homes per year. So there are far fewer sales with agents. And a really good question would be, how many homes did you sell in the last year? Or why should I pick you over all the other choices out there, right? Some people tell me, oh, I've known that agent for years and years. Maybe, but is that the right person to handle one of your largest assets? Also, how long of an agreement should I sign? All that stuff is negotiable, right? And it really depends. We offer a cancellation guarantee. If you're not satisfied, you can go away, no harm, no foul, because we want raving fans. Now, I'll just tell you a quick story. I had a listing over in the west side of town, and the seller decided to make a real estate change, but that agent would not let him out of the contract without getting a provision that said, for everyone that showed, if they buy the house, you owe me 2 commissions, Mr. Seller. So that really made him mad, but he went ahead and made a change anyway, and it worked out fine. Another question that's very important is, what about showings? Does a home have to be available all the time? Of course, you control that, dates and times, how much notice is required. We sell homes year round, so don't worry about the seasonality of what month you're selling homes. It really doesn't matter. You haven't missed the peak market. It's when it works for you. Another important question is, do you have a documented system for your home selling process? I would say there is a whole bunch of people that don't do that. We actually offer that plus our 6 satisfaction guarantees that we want our clients to be very happy through the home process. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
If you're thinking of making, so here's the problem, Barb. I've got a Richard there, and then it goes to, if you're thinking, it's about the one at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, just go right up to wrap that one up.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. That was Barb. She's the host of the program. And if you're thinking of making a move, call her at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Or if you want a free report, the top 10 questions to ask before you hire a real estate agent, go to barbhasthebuyers.com, go to the green button up in the upper right-hand corner. It says free reports. Click on that. When we come back, we'll be talking about how the top five when we come back, we'll be talking about the top 5 reasons to consider selling your home to a cash buyer. Barb will have the information on that.
Hey, I changed the script and I'm sorry I didn't change the document. So
Okay.
up next is a checklist to get your house ready for sale.
I'll just do that. 3, 2, 1. When we come back, we're going to be talking about a checklist to get your house ready to sell, plus Barb's hot new listings. You don't want to miss any of those. Stay tuned. You know, I'll tell you what, I just need to get in the habit here. And actually, DJ told me this a while back. He says, you know, if you just look at the monitor, you can always tell where Barb is at. And that has helped me a couple of times where I lose track of things. And if I had been looking up at the monitor, I would not have had the problem I just had. So thank you guys for
Well, my air traffic control mind is like, where am I at? How much time do I have left? Oh God, I gotta skip this stuff.
Do you ever go on YouTube and look at any of those little stories between air traffic controllers and pilots and any of that stuff?
I've seen some. I've lived it.
And it is, on the one hand, it is fascinating to me. And on the other hand, I'm like, gosh, dang, some of the times the pilot is a complete jerk. And then there are other times that the controller is a complete jerk. And the people back there are just finishing up their peanuts and getting ready to land. And they have no idea that, you know what, we almost landed on top of a Continental. Well, Continental doesn't fly. A United Airlines that was in a cross pattern on the, I mean, I don't know. It's funny. I would be so stressed out with any of that, Barb. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah. I think the controllers don't have to be pilots. So, they don't sometimes consider all the balls in the air that the pilot has while they're trying to manage that flight. So
That makes sense. Now I understand it more because I'm like, wait a minute, this person is not taking into consideration. He's hearing right from the person who's flying the plane.
yeah, and almost
That
died.
makes sense. Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay, I've got a new one. I am ready to go.
I'm ready.
3, 2, no fire is interrupting me here. The last fire just wasn't worth it. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. It does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, as the buyers are finding ways to afford homes in this newer, higher interest rate environment, they are getting pickier than ever. Getting a house ready to sell is the question often asked from people thinking about selling their home. So, how much difference does home sale preparation make when you want to get the most money on that home sale?
Well, it's the number one question that we get, and some people don't want to do anything, and they think, won't they just take my house as is? Can't we give them an allowance for my 10-year-old, stained carpet? And the answer is no. Buyers are going to just turn their nose up at it. They don't, most of them won't make an offer on a home that needs work. So we sit down with home sellers, we take a look at it. Now, there are different strategies to sell the home. If you want to go completely as is, that's fine. There's a price for that. But sometimes a very small investment can really get a big return on your investment. Things like fresh carpet. I had a sale last year. It was a raised ranch, beautiful home, had a little bit of dating on the main level. The basement had fresh carpet and it looked good, but the upper level had those borders that were in style back in the 90s and 2000s. And the bathrooms were not updated. The carpet really showed a lot of signs of wear, in particular after they took the furniture out. So when we had showing after showing, people saying it's too dated, but they weren't specific. So what we did, the sellers came back, they removed the borders, they updated the bathroom vanities, and they freshen the main level carpet, boom, sold right away for almost full price. So sometimes it's just a little thing that can make the difference. It doesn't necessarily mean a full-on remodel. And, I'll ask sellers, what's important? Some people want the most money. Some people want to sell quickly. Some people want to sell as is. And it really depends on their strategy on what option they take. They can take a cash offer and never have a buyer come through their house. But, most agents look backwards at historic sales to give them an idea on what it will sell for. And unfortunately, right now, it's just not working. I have tried it. And even though the historic sales support the appraised value, which an appraised value is a third-party opinion of value to give the borrower the ability to borrow for a loan on a house. And it has to appraise at the contract price for that to go forward. So it's really an opinion of value looking at historic sales, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what the home is worth right now. And that's what we're running into with larger inventory on the market. We go on the market at what historic sales have indicated, and we get crickets, not very many showings, no offers. As soon as we make a price correction, boom, we get multiple offers. And it's not a huge price correction. So you really need to hire somebody that knows what to do about this if you have that kind of problem. And sometimes it could be a condition issue. Overall, the days on market, the average days on market from the time you go on the market to the time you get a contract have been increasing substantially all along the Front Range, mostly because there's a lot more available homes on the market. There's a lot more choices for buyers to choose from. So you have to make sure you get that right. And you really need to hire an agent that knows how to do all this stuff, what to do, what not to do. I had a home up in Monument last year, and when I first met with him, I called it my 80s time warp. It had the mauve carpet throughout the home pretty much. It had the sculpted scallop shaped saints that were pink. And the building was nice, the lot was nice, but had they gone on the market at that price, it would have sold for a lot less. And the buyers would have said, oh, it needs too much work. So all they did was just some basic stuff. Carpet, they had that Miracle Method type product put in over the pink sinks. We ended up having a bidding war, and it sold for $75,000 over market. I had one seller that really didn't want to do anything. He wanted to go completely as is. So we priced aggressively. We priced below market value. Boom, full price, sold right away. So it really depends on how the seller wants to position the home and what's most important to them. But things that you can do that are pretty important are make sure you get flooring right. You don't necessarily have to buy new appliances. It's nice if they match. That would be a nice thing. But, depending on the price range, not all homes have granite, not all homes have luxury flooring. You really need a professional if you're planning to put some money into the property. And remember, your first showing of the home is online. That is going to make or break whether or not the buyer decides whether they're even going to leave their fuzzy bunny slippers and burn their gas money to come over and see your home. So the key rooms to focus on are curb appeal, the backyard, the living room, the kitchen, the master bathroom, and the master bedroom. I'm sorry, master bedroom. And we don't typically photograph inside of garages, inside of closets, unfinished basements. They just don't photograph well. The whole idea behind marketing is to attract buyers, not to repel them. So that's why you need to hire a team that knows exactly how to do that to get the most money when you sell your home. In general, updated homes are going to sell mostly top dollar, but look at the competition when you do that. Aggressively priced homes will sell for whatever they're going to sell for, typically more than asking price. And homes priced very realistically versus optimistically will also sell for top dollars. But you have to make sure that those photos are checked to make sure they are absolutely perfect. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team and also the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about getting your home ready for sale. And the next thing we're going to cover when we come back is the top 8 things that you should do to prepare your home for sale. And if you are thinking of making a move, I would present your home to my over 27,914 buyers in waiting, of which I have up to 700 that might be a high match for your home. And that's part of how we create demand. And if you want absolutely certainty that your home is sold, you could take advantage of our cash offer, multiple cash offer program. Go to our website, barbhasthebuyers.com. In just 3 clicks in 3 minutes, you'll get 3 offers, or we can guarantee the sale of your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference. Either way is fine with us. Just give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
We're talking with Barb Schlinker. That was Barb. She's the host of the program, and she's the owner of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. This is your real estate voice, and you can reach Barb because she is your voice at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com, the only person that I would recommend. Now, Barb, you've prepared a checklist to help people prepare their homes for sale. Is it simply how the home looks?
Well, I mean, that's some of it. The 4 P's have to be right: preparation, pricing, promotion, and picking the right agent. Some people don't prepare their home to be pretty online, but there's a price for that, right? So they price it very aggressively to get multiple offers. Either way, it works. But here's the top 8 things that really must be considered by a seller. Number 1, pricing it very realistically versus optimistically. Number 2, picking the right agent. Still to this day, Richard, I see listings online, even higher price listings, where the agent is too cheap to spend $200 to get professional photos, and they use their smartphone. And it's just so obvious. The lighting is bad. You can see the skinny picture instead of the full wide on the screen. And it's like, really, you're getting paid thousands of dollars to sell the home, and you can't do your job and promote it properly? I just don't get it.
I don't get it either, Barb. This is one of the biggest transactions you're going to make in your life. It'd be like having someone with a cell phone take photographs at your wedding reception.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, $200 to have a pro do it. You have pros do everything that is really something that they need because you market homes. You don't just list them.
Right. I mean, the whole idea is to create demand. If you have bad photos, the buyers are moving on. They're going to go find something else to look at. So that's why it's so important. And buyers just won't come out and see it if the home is priced too high. They won't make an offer. A lot of people think they will make an offer. Well, won't they just make an offer and negotiate? The answer is no. They're not even going to come to see it because they're afraid that maybe you won't consider what they might be willing to pay for the home. So you want to make sure that your agent also knows how to negotiate. Things like, do we have offers? The number one question I get from agents, if their buyer is interested, is, do you have any other offers on your home? And most of the time I can say, yes, I do, because I have the cash offer program. And then just make sure your agent knows the sales process. Things like, if you're dealing with properties with septic and wells and sewer and electrical panels, you have to have somebody that has some expertise that knows how to handle those things, because some of them take a lot of time to solve. And that's part of what we do with our certified pre-owned home program. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call at 719-301-3900. Typically, we can match up to 700 buyers that are a high match for any home. And you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com, click on cash offers, and get your cash offers in just 3 clicks, 3 minutes, 3 offers. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Her favorite part of the program, she is the host, of course, is the hot new listings. Tell us about what you have this time.
Well, Richard, I have a beautiful townhome right down there near Peterson Air Force Base on Riley Grove. It's really cool. It's set up almost like 2 masters with a loft area in between, priced at $349,999. A gorgeous townhome in Briargate on Lexington at $309,999. Coming soon, a spectacular home in Sagewood and Briargate under $500,000. Also active and open this weekend, an amazing home on the northeast side on Altman Drive, priced at $474,999. We have a beautiful ranch on main level master home on 5 acres on Gull Lane. This one's priced at $719,900, and that home has solar, has main level living, is absolutely designed for multi-generational families. Really, really nice home. A beautiful ranch, kind of like a hobby farm on a Cowie Way in Peyton at $669,999. A gorgeous 2-story in the Broadmoor Bluffs. That one's now priced at $849,999. And we have some fantastic homes coming very soon, including this weekend. We're featuring a home on Crandall Drive in the mid 400s, a 2-story with a finished basement that has beautiful flowers, great backyard, and many others. You can find out all of our homes if you go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call at 719-301-3900. And one more, we've been getting a lot of calls on this home. It's in Briargate on Radcliffe Drive. This home has amazing views, beautiful, priced at $575. That'll be open this weekend from 11 to 12. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday, 1 o'clock. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice that airs every Saturday from 11 o'clock till noon, right after Cudlow. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And remember, you can see replays of this show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Has the Buyers, or listen to a podcast on all of the popular platforms, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thank you for listening. Reach out to Barb. Call her at 719-301-3900. Barb, have a great week and a great weekend.
Thank you. Have a great weekend as well.
Okay.
Need it.
All right. Let's see here. I'm drowning in paperwork. I inundate myself with paperwork so much. Yeah, I got it. Thank you, though. And actually, even though I'm saying I'm inundating myself with paperwork, before, like a nanosecond before I found what I was looking at, David's ahead of the game. He's holding it up, and I've got what I need now. So what do we think? Top 5 reasons to sell your home, cash buy.